welcome back to the Flow of Life Tarot. Thanks for being here. Do feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe. And let me know your thoughts. So we're going to pull a card from the mystical shaman, and then we're going to see what the story is, what's going on with you. Just do a little Palo Santo cleanse. Feel free to use this time to pause what you're doing, drop all your baggage, sit down, grab a cup of tea, feel seated in yourself, and take this as a moment to pause and meditate deeply within yourself. Okay, I feel like this is the tree of life. Very grounded, very rooted. So this looks like it's going to be a very nourishing reading about being grounded in your roots, your ancestry, maybe some ancestral messages coming through. Okay, let's see where this story unfolds. That's lovely. And we're going to use the classic Rider-Waite. So I am going to do the normal 4 cuts whilst shuffling and get the story of the cards that come through whilst doing that. There's always a lot of valuable information I find in that, sometimes separate to the story, but sometimes very useful. Look at that. 10 of Pentacles at the bottom with the Tree of Life there. It's very nourishing and grounding, very earth energy. So this looks like it might be a nice, stable, stabilizing, nourishing, grounding reading. Right, first cut of 4. We're going to split the deck, and Devil and Page of Pentacles. Well, we've got Earth here. Devil card, Capricorn energy, representing attachment and ties that bind and restrict us to things that no longer serve our highest good and greatest well-being. So let's bear that in mind. And Pentacles, fresh new start. Page has that learner energy, that beginner mind energy. And he's holding that new start, that new earthly start, with so much love and respect and appreciation, like a baby bird. Okay. Very shuffling today. Okay, so number 2, Tower, and the Devil again. Take what resonates and leave the rest for someone else. So it could be some shocking surprise or awareness in one's consciousness, which is often the Tower, Uranian energy. Bringing awareness to ties, devil energies that you may not have been consciously aware of before, because that's the whole point of it. They run in the subconscious. Or that this sort of liberates the ties that perhaps you've been working on and well aware of for some time. Okay, doesn't want to shuffle. Let's try again. Okay. Very sticky shuffle, very tight shuffle. Emperor's shown up, no nonsense. Okay, good. So I feel like if it has been a Tower energy, externally, internally, a sense of awareness that's liberated you from devil energies, or given you the conscious awareness to deal with patterns that perhaps have been so deep in the subconscious that they've been hard to access. The Emperor doesn't take any nonsense, so this is someone stepping into their divine masculine, divine feminine, leveling up, moving on, and it's making impact now. Even if you've been working with these programmings and subconscious patterns for some time, they're now having completion and impact, big impact. Yeah. Okay. Emperor energy. I see this often as like a precursor for something like the Priestess card. I say something like because I also think of the Judgment card or Justice card, where she has the sword and the scales. Justice, justice is blind. Only because I feel that with this Two of Swords, it's asking you to get out of the stuck, polarized thinking, Two Swords thinking, which has been used and weaponized to protect your heart for some time. And I feel like the blindfold is there as like an initiatory request and asking you to go within and rely upon your intuition, as well as your emotions, which is different to intuition, emotional senses. And again, we've got the moon up here. So this is asking you to step out of that locked kind of polarized thinking that has been perhaps what your pattern has been for some time, and rely upon your intuition and your emotional body and other senses a bit more, hence being blindfolded. I just saw 551 on the clock. I'm 555 now. It just stood out. 5 being changes, often representing change. I think we've got one more cut. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm going to do another one anyway. One more shuffle at least. Yeah, so that's it. You're being asked to get out of this stuck thinking. What do we have? This and the Emperor, and then the Emperor and the Tower, Tower and the Devil, Devil and the Page. There's quite a story there, quite a progression. With the Page and the Devil, it could be about attachment to material things, such that maybe you've had loss and now have to hold material things with more of a lightness and a kind of reverence. You'd have a spirituality opposed to the clinging, clawing mechanism of safety, which often occurs because of subconscious programming, which is a natural response of being human in a challenging world. Yeah. You're being asked to rely upon your other senses and go within, so as not to get stuck in this sleepless nights kind of Nine of Swords energy. So we're going to get some cards for the Tree of Life. We just get a rough sort of flow of past, present, future energies to see what you're, in regards to this Tree of Life story, what you're navigating at the moment, where you're at. Okay, might be too many cards. Yeah, so yeah, there is too many cards. I'm not going to take them, but it is about getting out of the stuck thinking, trapped mind, freeing yourself with this full energy and stepping into a more vibrant King of Wands energy. We get one card for the... There's one flipped over. Yeah. A lot of cutting stuff out. Okay, I'm going to get one card for the Tree of Life. Why have we got the Tree of Life here? One card for the Tree of Life. It's not that they're sticky, it just feels like a funny... Oh, look, this, I feel like this is a repetition again and again and again. It's new information, new knowledge coming through, a spark of information that's going to... and also, relying on that fire and passion within, it's going to get you out of any stuck thinking and more about your intuition. Okay. I'm going to do a quick Palo Santo. So I want to shift out of that story that keeps popping up. And really get into the energies of this Tree of Life card. See why that is here for us. Okay, Tree of Life. Get one card for the Tree of Life, please. Just one. Okay, Death, transformation. We've got these butterflies here, which are the symbol of transformation and the cycle of life, death, rebirth. I find with this card, it's, there's a sense of reincarnation and renewal, either referring to many, many lifetimes lived, or in your present lifetime. And I also see these butterflies up here in the leaves. So it's transformation from the very roots all the way up to the leaves. It's the whole body of this. So very much a transformation. This is what the Tree of Life card is here. These beautiful deep roots. You've got the green of the heart chakra moving into this beautiful, there's the yellow and straight into the roots and the red. So I feel there's heart guidance here. I've got these blues of the throat chakra here in the background. Okay, so you've been through some sort of death or transformation energy, and actually you're now in this Four of Cups, which is what I wonder why that story kept repeating. Slight inertia, slight rejection, perhaps feeling a bit sorry for oneself. Yeah, be careful of the energies of sabotage and self-sabotage. So where's this story going? We've got the Tree of Life has given us the Death card. Oh look, and he's sitting under a tree. So this is where you're at right now, this pause. You know, and if you have been through some brutal transformation, then that's understandable, right? And where are things headed? This story with the Tree of Life. Queen of Swords, which came out earlier. Yeah, that will happen. Often when a card wants to come out, it will be seen. And this energy that she brings will cut through this, perhaps apathy or whatever, wherever you're at right now. And I'm going to get, intuition, right. High Priestess. You're being called to work with your intuition in a very grounded way. Let's get some more. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to use this to clarify this story. In fact, let's see if we've got a bit more room there. Let's just do a bit of faffing around because it's always fun to... How's that look? Okay. Death. Justice. This is the card that I was talking about I think in the traditional Rider-Waite. The Justice card wears a blindfold. She's got the Sword of Truth and the Scales, Balance, Libra. Right, just want one card for Death. Why is Death card here, please? Strength. It came up in another reading recently. Whatever it is you've been through, whatever transformational process, it's required a lot of you. It's required a lot of strength. And it's actually required that of you, and it's brought through determination and resilience, an inherent strength that was always there, that perhaps now you know is there unequivocally. No one can test your boundaries or question your integrity or strength or truth or power. You're not even going to let them, but they can't. Okay. Nothing can take away from you the strength and the capacity that you've built and the resilience. It's funny, we say challenges and things bring us gifts and strength and all these things, but they kind of reveal them because the challenges of life, they ask of us to meet the challenge, right? So it's never to say that you weren't strong before, but And if you didn't know before, you certainly know now. And why have we got this Four of Cups? So why have we shifted into this Four of Cups energy under the tree? Which is interesting. I mean, it could be here asking you just to take a pause, meditate, sit under a tree for a while. That's how Buddha got enlightened, right? He was sitting under a tree, the Bodhi tree. Despite years, or maybe because of years of different types of searching, he went and studied and found different gurus and masters, and he did all sorts of different types of, I guess what we'd call self-development and self-growth now, and none of it worked until he gave up and surrendered and just sat under the tree. I just saw 1551. So it's when he gave up that enlightenment just, hey, maybe that's what you're on a path for. Okay, Two of Swords came up again. It looks different in this deck, but you still see the swords crossing our heart, thoughts that have been weaponized, thoughts that are in conflict and duality. You're being asked to surrender and go within and rely upon your other senses. Yeah, because you have a choice to make. And just battling it out with thoughts isn't going to work. So maybe that's why you're feeling you've got a choice to make. This is interesting because that came up with a different reading, quite different cards. So I'm going to ask about this choice. What is this? Four of Cups and this choice that is being... Something to do with your finances. Maybe it's to do with love. This is air and earth energy. Yeah, it's funny that we've got the Queen of Swords here. The choice. To shift out of this slightly feeling sorry for oneself energy, because there's a refusal of a cup here. It's a divine cup of love and it's being refused. It's not even being looked at, it's being ignored or not seen. Oh, and look how grumpy he is. He's staring at these three cups. And they're not even spilt, but he's feeling, his arms are crossed. Again, like her arms are crossed here, protecting the heart, which is what the cups are. The Ace of Cups is love, an offer of love. So there's this choice now to get out of this energy as well. So he's sort of in his emotions. She's in her thoughts, in her head. You're being asked to shift this energy, and to do that, the key is to embody this Queen of Swords, very clear thinking, no nonsense. You only draw the sword when you're willing to use it. You don't dull the blade and waste it. And then this King of Pentacles, who's very grounded and abundant and solid, stable. So she takes no BS. He's solid and stable and grounded and very relaxed. It's like he's wearing a bathrobe. You're being asked to get into this energy. It could be you have a choice about love to make, because we've got these sort of king and queen here. But the choice can refer to career, love. You'll know what it is for you. Okay, Queen of Swords. Oh, I've got the Queen of Swords here. Wow. Okay. Seven of Swords, I don't know if you saw it, but it just popped up earlier in the other deck when this came out. Be mindful of self-sabotage patterns. Obviously, when they're subconscious, it's hard to be fully aware, which is why we sometimes need to reflect. So don't get paranoid about it, but just being aware, mindful of that energy, that tendency. So, Queen of Swords, we have the High Priestess, which is intuition. And we have the High Priestess here. Wow, this is a huge emphasis. on intuition and that energy. It being doubled up with the High Priestess here as well. And then the World card. Okay, see if I can just find a way to... Right, I just had to pause that because I didn't have a sticker on there. So, Queen of Swords, I've rearranged. Queen of Swords, going forwards with clear thinking, clarity, no BS. Got the Queen of Swords twice out on the table. And the reason why she's here is because we've got the High Priestess in the world, because you are stepping into a whole new paradigm. And again, thinking about the Tree of Life and thinking about the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve, and the Tree of Knowledge, because of this snake here and this, you know, the forbidden fruit. I feel like these are energies that are slow and ancient, moving through you, and may have been working through you for quite some time. So it's not about the personal ego having control over these things. It's giving you advice about how to handle certain things as these energies, these very ancient energies, are moving through you and coming to the surface. I hope that makes sense. And the way to do that is to carry yourself with grace, wisdom, discernment, honour, integrity, truth. Seen here with Queen of Swords twice. And doing so, you have the discernment of the High Priestess and your intuition. So yeah, whatever transformation you have been through, it's been big. It's been really big. And we haven't got much detail on that, but it has drawn your strength or galvanized your strength or called upon your strength and helped you see your strength. Because you're getting prepared to move into this new cycle. There's quite a lot of information here. I'm going to get a moon card. Obviously, we're in, 2025 is a huge, every year seems to have been big astrologically, and energies reflected in the world. And this is no different. There's a lot going on. So can we get a moon card for the Tree of Life, please? Yeah. New start is coming. Yeah, I feel this is what this is preparing you for. You have been through it. You might feel like you're sort of in the doldrums a bit. And you're being asked to make a choice. That choice represented here by the Queen of Swords and the King of Pentacles, and then moving forward with the Queen of Swords energy, supported by this High Priestess intuitive knowing, because you are stepping into a whole new paradigm. And there we go. Oh, that's interesting. So yeah, a new start is coming. We've got a new moon. We did just have a new moon just over a week ago. Bottom of the deck. We've got the Libra scales again, which we saw earlier. A new romantic cycle begins. And that's just affirming this world. So I hope that made sense. I hope that was enjoyable and interesting and illuminating. The intention is always set that these readings are for your highest good and greatest well-being, and you hear them when you need to. Yeah, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, and drop an emoji if you feel like it. And yeah, well done if you made it to the end. That definitely means that this is for you. Okay, take care.